office?
What was that?
I said, is it a quiet day there at the office?
April is the host now. I just saw that.
Yay, and it's already recording because I set it up to record as soon as I logged on. So I think that was a good learning moment, though. We all learned something, right?
I learned something too. I will put that in my PowerPoint presentation and teach everyone next. This is the great, like I said, the more we use this, the more we learn how everything goes.
Awesome.
So we supposed to record this too?
Yeah, if you would record, that would be great. Is it letting you record? Have you tried?
No, it says please request recording permission from the meeting host.
Okay. Doug, do you know where I would find that?
Go to your participants. Get down on the bottom. You see participants 4.
Mm-hmm.
Participants. Yes.
Click on that. You'll see a list of everyone. And click on her name. And then you should be some more. You'll see more. And then you say allow her to record. Little pop-down window or so.
Okay, excellent.
Got it?
Yes, I've got it. Thank
now
you.
We all learned how to do that.
All right, you guys have a good session. See you later.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doug. Take care.
You too.
Okay, so you both should be allowed to record now. If you both want to record, just in case something else happens. Okay, so we learned something new today.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
No harm done. Okay.
So I guess we should get started on the discussion. So I wrote the questions down so I'd have them handy. The first question was, what are some of your best practices for promoting effective discussions? Do you want to get us started?
Well, we're talking about thread discussions, correct?
Yeah, I think threaded and blended discussions. I think in both.
Classroom and online?
I think so. He wasn't necessarily specific. That was verbatim what the question said. But I think they kind of overlap, right? I think all good discussions start with good discussion questions that are open-ended and compelling and relatable. I think if something's not relatable, I teach at Brown Mackey. I'm not sure if y'all are Brown Mackey employees also. Good. But a lot of our students, if something doesn't relate back to their lives, it seems like they tend to check out,
That's true.
So to get them involved, it has to in some way connect with something that's going on with them or something they've experienced. And I think that's kind of at the root of a good discussion. So
yeah, asking open-ended discussion, open-ended questions is definitely one of the things that I use to get, students to respond. And also, like you said, making an intentional effort to find an area of commonality between students, so they can, relate easier to whoever they're sharing the discussion with. Because you're right, if they can't relate, especially on the younger students, they usually just sit back and don't say anything or just give short responses and things like that. And also, I like to ask their opinion and intentionally try to make them feel that their opinion matters to me, and that no matter what they say, it will add to, the knowledge base of the group.
So from the library perspective, I love to see people ask students to resource and that either supports the point or provides an example of the point, and to post the citation because that gives them practice with their APA format, or to find an article that disagrees with the point because there's a lot of discussion there. It makes them dive into their own resources. It makes them practice the library skills that they're supposed to be getting, and at the same time get deeper into the content and get to those higher levels of thinking with the compare and contrasting different information.
Yeah, I really like that you make them back up their opinions, because I think that it's kind of common that people, this idea that, it's my opinion, we have to respect that, and my opinion is valuable, and we have to kind of untrain students from thinking that way, that their opinion is just intrinsically valuable, and get them to back it up and support it. And there's nothing more, exciting, I guess, to me than to see a student even change their opinion or learn something entirely new and, get out of that rut that their life was in, because they actually learned how to do research. So I think that's really great that you do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the second question is, what are some of the ways you personally can use feedback to promote a learning dialogue and productive relationships with the students in your class?
Wow, that's a good one.
That is a good one. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I think that one of my biggest problems as an instructor when it comes to feedback, at least, is I tend to make statements when I think I should ask more questions, to get them to think deeper whenever they're not quite getting what I want them to get. I kind of can be a control freak, and I just want to tell them the answer, but instead I really need to force them to think about it. I don't know. What do you ladies think?
Well, in the business classes, a lot of times my students have like tunnel vision. And I try to, and a lot of times in business scenarios, especially sometimes when you're like in a finance class or an accounting class, there's more than one right answer. So when they give me their answer and I want to expand on it, I always put forth the questions, well, did you think about this? Or what do you think about going this way with this situation? How would that help the client? Or how would that help the company? And encourage them to think about something else and then offer feedback on a choice other than what they had chosen. Yeah. So, I guess I offer alternative thought, I guess.
Perspective, right? You give a perspective.
Yeah, perspective, right.
I think one of the key points too from the materials this week in the class was basically just having a presence, especially threaded discussions of checking in frequently, knowing what direction the conversation is going. So if it starts off, down a rabbit trail, you can bring it. I see you guys have had experience with that.
Yes.
Back in line with what its original intention was without losing the learning opportunity. I think that was really one of the key points from the readings this week is, being available and making sure students still know that you're interested in their perspective and what they have to share.
I've got to just ask a question. Have you all ever had a situation where you have an intense discussion and students start editorializing on fellow students? I'm talking about name calling or telling them that their answer was like, and they then use words that really aren't very professional, and they get off on a tangent. What are some of the things you've done in a direct manner to get, especially in thread discussions, to get people back on track?
So far, I've been fortunate that I haven't had that happen.
Really? Oh,
really
wow.
Too much. I'm trying to think if I've ever had to. Once or twice I've had to have a conversation with a student about, kind of keeping it calm or not making it personal. But because I've never taught simply a blended class, I've usually approached that in person because I think, for one, I think they take you more seriously, for me anyways, if I sit them down. Because when it comes to teaching, I'm very much a confronter. So if I have an issue with the student, I just meet it head on because I found that once you confront them, they usually change their tune or they're a little bit more sympathetic. So that's usually my route. And also that way it doesn't seem like I'm picking on them or they don't get as defensive, I think, as they would in writing. Because in writing, things can just get so misconstrued sometimes. Yeah. So.
And in various discussions, it's easier, like you said, it's easier face-to-face to keep things on track than it is in thread discussions. And I've had that happen before, and just wondered how you all handle it if you've had that situation come up.
So what did you do?
Well, I had to be pretty direct. I said something like, okay, guys, we're getting off track here. Let's stop that and rewind and start here, And it's hard to relay that, because you're typing this all in the system or the thread discussion. So, I've only happened, I don't know, maybe a handful of times, but I was just wondering if anyone, because, I guess you really don't have a choice but to be direct to tell them you're getting off track. Let's get back on.
Yeah.
I wonder if you guys, I don't know if this is common practice or not, to kind of post at the beginning in your main materials, almost like an etiquette type thing. So you establish that up front.
Yeah.
So it's less likely to happen as you're going. But I really believe that the personal component is very important there. I think a phone call, if somebody's not using proper language or not being respectful, would be a lot easier to bring the student back on track and to help them understand that respectful communication can be part of their grade, because they're expected to learn how to communicate with others that do not agree with them in a way that still communicates an appreciation for diversity, whether they agree or not. So, and I don't think you necessarily have to say that kind of stuff on your first contact. I think adults don't learn how to communicate well to begin with. So I think before I made the phone call, I'd probably rephrase the student's point in my own words and say to them, I think this is what you were trying to communicate. Would you be willing to think about rephrasing your language in this way in the future?
Okay.
Use something like this.
Like that, yeah.
Because a lot of times I don't think it's an issue of that they meant to be rude. I mean, sometimes, I'm sure there are times. But I think of it more, I think a lot of people are challenged with their communication and their soft skills to begin with. So I think it's an opportunity to go over and say, I think you made a great point here, but it would have been better received if you had said it in this way. That way you've modeled for them the language that you want to see in the future.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I think I teach composition classes, and sometimes it comes down to, it can be a good teaching moment about tone, especially when it comes to persuasive writing or any form of writing. So sometimes I think, I just have to have that conversation with them about how, look, I realize what you're trying to say, but you're alienating your audience. Just go back to your audience, right? They're not going to listen to you if you call them names or you talk down to them. You have to approach them, as equals and treat them well. So, I think that was a great question, though. That was, it's something that comes up. I think that I never taught before social media came along, but I really wonder if that's played a role in the way that people interact professionally now, especially people who are coming into the professional world. If they try to treat it like it's Facebook sometimes,
Good point.
Right.
Good point.
Well, I think we covered our questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, ladies? I think this has been a great discussion, so I'm glad we met up today. But is there anything else?
Thank you for setting this up. I started a tax preparation business and actually got in quite a few clients this year. So I totally woo. So I really appreciate you setting the meeting up.
No problem. And I'm going to see if I can upload it. If I have any problems uploading the video, Patricia, it looks like you've recorded as well. So if I have any issues, I'll let you know, and maybe you can try from your end. But it looks like it's pretty simple. Okay. So I'll see if I can get this video uploaded today, so we're good to go for the assignment.
All righty. Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, ladies. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.